You know, I don't usually like to get too political on my channel. I'll leave that to the pundits. But recently on Fox News, anchor Laura Ingraham made some comments that I absolutely have to talk about. Stick with me. Hi, and welcome to Classroom Confidential. My name is Christopher Youngren, and I'm a middle school ELA teacher in Tucson, Arizona. So clearly, this is not my classroom. I'm at home. I'm on winter break, and I was going to take a break from making videos over the holidays. But recently on Fox News, as I said, anchor Laura Ingraham said a few things that I just couldn't let get by me. So first of all, she referred to virtual teachers, distance learning teachers, as left-wing loafers. And if they really cared about the kids, they would open all schools for in-person learning immediately, because kids have a very minuscule chance of getting seriously ill from the virus. So I want to address these points one at a time. So as far as virtual teachers being loafers, well, all I have to say to that is oh, Lord, it's just too laughable to even comment on. But you know what? I will anyway. Because honest to Betsy, I have never, ever been more exhausted in my life than I have been from virtual teaching. And I know that pretty much every single teacher I know feels the same way. It is a daily struggle. I mean, classroom management in middle schools is difficult enough already, but when you throw that online component into it, I mean, mercy, is it any wonder that teachers are quitting the profession in droves? They're not quitting because it's easy. They're not quitting because it's a cakewalk and they're just sitting at home in their PJs, eating a bag of Cheetos, sitting in their beanbag chair. Honestly, it is the most difficult type of teaching I have ever done, and I know plenty of people who feel the same way. Honestly, comment down below and let me know if you find virtual teaching easier than in-person learning, because honestly, I haven't heard of a single teacher who feels that way. I haven't heard of a single administrator who doesn't recognize the difficulty of reaching students from a distance, online, on Zoom. It is a daily struggle, and anybody who suggests that it's easy and that the reason teachers don't want to go back is because they're a bunch of loafers has honestly never taught a single day in their life and doesn't know thing one about the profession. That's all I have to say about that. Now, as far as reopening schools for in-person learning, I mean, this is a real hot button polarizer of a debate going on right now. And a lot of people feel that students are really, really missing out when it comes to learning, and online learning just doesn't cut it. Here's the problem. And while it is true that they certainly have not statistically been getting as sick or dying as adults have, or people with pre-existing condition, or the elderly, they can still be carriers. And the part that's being left out of this equation is the teachers. So teachers should put their lives on the line and run the risk of contracting COVID from one of these kids who's perfectly capable of carrying the virus. And they say kids 10 and above are just as likely to contract it as adults, and just as likely to get sick from the disease. It's the real little ones that so far haven't been showing the same signs of getting sick as adults. But the problem is, by putting teachers into this scenario where they run the risk of getting sick, what are you going to do? How are you going to have in-person teaching with no teachers? If teachers get sick, even if they don't die, they got to go home for at least 2 weeks. So now you're in, what, a substitute teacher type scenario? That's no good for learning, having teachers on again, off again, because they're getting sick, and having a substitute and then having your teacher back. But again, there is a real possibility of teachers getting sick. So it's not just a question of, oh, well, it's a safe place for the kids. That may be, but for the teachers, it's a completely different story. Again, comment down below and tell me how safe you feel as a teacher right now. Maybe you're doing a hybrid. Maybe you're in person right now. Maybe you don't have a problem with going back. But let me know how you feel. I would love to hear back from you. You know, one other thing that Laura Ingraham said, which is absolutely true, is that the suicide rate of students has been higher through distance learning. Absolutely true. But what we need to do is, if we have to stay online for the time being, we really need to adjust our focus and figure out a way to really cultivate the socio-emotional needs of these kids and put that above grades. I mean, grades this year, they're not motivating kids. The threat of being held back, that's not motivating kids. What's going to motivate kids is taking care of them, taking care of their mental health, so the suicide rate does not stay up, so the depression rate does not stay up. We need to connect with them on a human level and say, I see you, I am here for you. What can I do to help you through this? That's my job as a teacher. That's all of our jobs as teachers. What can we do to help these kids through life for the little amount of time that we have them? And if we're not doing that, and if all we're doing is saying, yeah, hey, you're failing class because you didn't turn in your assignment, then we're not doing our jobs, right? We are exhausted. We are bending over backwards to accommodate these kids, and they are still checked out and they are still depressed. So if it's true, and it is, that the suicide rate and the depression rate is higher, then in the new year, we really need to readjust our sights and figure out a way to connect with them on a human level, on an emotional level, so that they don't continue to check out and so that the morale doesn't continue to take a nosedive. Because if it does, then the second semester is going to be absolute anarchy. It's going to be chaos, and absolutely nothing is going to get accomplished. I just want to say that from one teacher to another, if you're an educator, I know how hard you're working because I know how hard I'm working. And this has not been easy for anyone. And there are no easy answers. This is just my opinion. You may feel completely different about the entire situation, and that's fine. But there are certain things that we have to agree upon if we want to stay safe and if we want to stay well. And if we don't do that, if we don't take care of ourselves first, how on earth are we going to take care of our students? Hey, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate your support of this channel. I wish you all the best in the new year, whatever that looks like for you. Distance teaching, virtual, hybrid, just keep on keeping on. The struggle is real, and we are all in this together. Take care of yourselves and take care of someone else. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.